They looked somewhat startled, but complied with instructions, put their hands behind their back, were handcuffed and led away. The new charges that have been levelled against them then formed the basis for an extradition request from the UK authorities, which is what led to these arrests. And they are more allegations of sexual offences, sexual misconduct. They already faced in Romania money laundering allegations of running an organised crime syndicate, and rape and human trafficking charges.
Controversial influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate have been arrested in the United States and face 38 new charges, including rape and trafficking. The Times understands they were arrested on an extradition request from the British authorities. We're going to speak now to Jacqui Goddard, who's the US Correspondent for the Times. Jacqui, thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Hello.
Let's start at the beginning and get a rundown on who the Tate brothers are. Of course, there'll be plenty of people who will have heard of them, but there are others who have a brief familiarity with them. So talk us through their past history, if you could, Jacqui.
Yes, Andrew and Tristan Tate, they're aged 38 and 39, brothers who were born in the US, but also have British citizenship. And they are former kickboxers, professional kickboxers, who founded a pornography empire and became social media influencers, in their own words, self-declared misogynists. So it's based on a kind of anti-feminism platform. And they have, over the years, formed a lot of controversy, albeit they have over 10 million viewers and followers online, with their kind of particular brand of this anti-feminist platform that they expound. And then in last year, they faced 21 rape and human trafficking charges in the UK. They then were based in Romania for a while, where they also faced similar charges there. And then in February last year, I was at the airport at Fort Lauderdale when they flew in here with their 30 bags of luggage and appeared to have been given the ability to move over here despite still being wanted in Romania or in the midst of prosecution. So new development here now is their arrest in Miami yesterday on further charges in the UK. And
what can you tell us about those developments, Jacqui?
So, well, it was pretty interesting seeing as they were, there was footage of them being arrested yesterday outside the convention centre in Miami. They were arriving where Andrew Tate was meant to be hosting a bare knuckle fighting event at a convention centre. They looked somewhat startled, but complied with instructions, put their hands behind their back, were handcuffed and led away. The new charges that have been levelled against them then formed the basis for an extradition request from the UK authorities, which is what led to these arrests. And they are more allegations of sexual offences, sexual misconduct. They already faced in Romania money laundering allegations of running an organised crime syndicate, and rape and human trafficking charges. So similar charges to what they were already facing, but more of them. And this followed a big investigation led by Bedfordshire Police, who have put out a statement today saying that this was both national and international law enforcement agencies that were involved in this investigation.
To what do you attribute their quote-unquote popularity? If you have millions and millions of followers, what are they selling?
It's based on a sort of right-wing platform, which of course has some traction with a certain element of the population. They have a largely male following. They had found some support within Donald Trump's administration over here. Paolo Zampoli, who is a modelling agency boss, actually, who introduced Melania Trump to Donald Trump many years ago, and now has status as a special envoy for Donald Trump here in the US. He actually hosted the Tate brothers here a few days ago in Washington, D.C., actually, at a private home, I think his home. And previously, he had also had the brothers had also found favour with Donald Trump's another special envoy, Richard Grenell, who had been involved in some conversation with Romanian authorities when at the time the Tates were banned from leaving Romania, and then that changed.
So from what I gather, the bits and pieces I've seen of them, it involves a lot of kind of cigars and women and brandy and machismo and the kind of manospherical type world that they might inhabit. Is that fair sort of analysis?
That's right. They were called the kings of the toxic masculinity. Yeah. Lots of properties, lots of land, lots of smart cars. And a very lucrative porn empire on which their fortune was based.
And you say they appeared to be somewhat bemused or surprised at the arrest yesterday.
They had arrived looking very swank. Tristan in a suit, and Andrew in a sort of glittering purple shirt with lots of jewellery on around his neck. He bowed his head as I think it was an acquaintance removed that jewellery from around his neck while he had his hands cuffed behind him. So I guess taking that jewellery back off him before he was taken into custody. They didn't appear to say anything. They didn't respond to questions by those who were present, which included TMZ. And others, there was no particular drama. They seemed compliant.
Okay, and it was a bare knuckle event, is that what you said?
It's a bare knuckle fighting event. And of course, the two of them are former professional kickboxers themselves, so they move in those circles.
All right, Jacqui, thank you so much for giving us the update on that story. Jacqui Goddard is the US correspondent for The Times, reporting for us there.